Okay. Yeah. Yes. So that's done. Let's redo this. Sorry. There's the right one. I'm going to be by myself for a little bit, people, so bear with me. Camera. One, and we are live, and I believe we are successfully streaming here from the studios or sanctuary at NEC on Stanley Road in Burton, Ohio. I'm Matt Wilson. I'm missing my cohort, Pastor Brian. He is currently tied up in an appointment. Can't imagine that there'd be something more important than this. I mean, every Friday, you know. Welcome. I haven't done one of these by myself, so we'll see. I like to talk a lot, as you all know, all three of you, and we'll see if I can fill this. I'm still trying to get my bearings on seeing what kind of feedback I'll get. So not a lot to talk about this week. Been kind of quiet. Not a lot going on. I'm joking, of course. The ongoing coronavirus seems to have really turned up the boilerplate this week. Not sure if it's a lot of hype or, you know, is this just a flu? Here, hold on a second. I'm going to get the YouTubes going here so I can watch that. Sorry, I should be talking while I'm filling production space. So is it a bunch of hype? Is it just the flu? Nothing to be worried about here, folks? Or, you know, is it this deadly thing that's worth trading in all your freedoms and staying in your house for? And I'm at 50-50. And the reason I'm at 50-50 is because if you're a baby cow and you're running with the herd of cows and you can't keep up, the big cows are going to run you over. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. I mean, the United States is acting like a herd, and so you know, I want to have some prudence and some wisdom, but you know, like at the same time, I'm going to go buy some toilet paper, right? So let's see if we got anybody on here. 2 people watching on Facebook. Oh heavens. There, it's restarting the little thing. There's my goof up. Okay. So, anyway, I went and bought my toilet paper. Apparently that's a hot commodity. And you know what's funny is they've made it a joke. It's a meme, a joke online to go buy toilet paper, but apparently everybody went and bought toilet paper. So, you know, while you're sitting on your cases of toilet paper, making fun of people buying toilet paper, you bought toilet paper because there's none around. Now, I realize part of this is due to shortage because our toilet paper is made in China. Probably a prime example of why we don't want to do that so much anymore. But, you know, I don't think it's bad to be prudent. And where does the line go where we've bought too much toilet paper? Is there somebody that says we bought enough toilet paper? Why can't you buy all the toilet paper you want? Just because you bought some and someone else can't get any, well, tough luck. Like, you know, at Black Friday, you're willing to punch somebody in the face to get a PS3 or a new DVD player or a hot new Walkman. You know, why can't someone buy toilet paper, I guess, as much as they want? Now, all of those things being said, you know, you do still have to be prudent, and we got to share and be amicable with everybody. But what does everybody think? Like, is this just another flu bug that they are turning into a monster, or is this actually a monster, or is this, I don't know, a new plan to control the U.S.? Is this here? We're getting YouTube going. See who we find here. It doesn't look like anybody yet. Is this I seem to think that this is kind of a plan. This is turning into a new 9/11. And I think that we're going to see this come to fruition. I don't know how serious right at first. I think this is kind of like the soft easement. But I think when we come out of this on the other side, we are either going to have done this because it needed done, and this virus was real, and we're going to be a different people on the other side because of serving food in restaurants with the black glove treatment, new methodologies in sanitization. Nobody shakes hands anymore. Is the handshake dead? Did the handshake die over the past month? Or, are we really going to do this dumb touching elbows thing, which we're coughing on our elbows, and yet we're touching elbows? I can't. There's a lot of things that I don't understand about what I'm seeing people do. And this goes to watching the news. One moment it's serious. One moment, they're telling everybody to stay calm. One moment it has an R naught of 2 to 3, which is slightly more infectious than the flu, which has an R naught of 1 to 3, and I think this is 2 to 4 or something. But I was just watching this before I came up here, and it almost infuriated me because I think it's measles has an R naught of 12 to 14. So basically that means if you have this disease, that's how many people you're going to transmit it to. Now, if I just put together in my uneducated layman brain how this thing is working, from what I've heard, it can live on surfaces for 9 to 13 hours or whatever, days, sometimes days. It depends on what report you're watching. It has big, scary, sharp teeth, and it can get you at any time. People are getting it. They don't know where they're getting it from. They don't know how they got it. That sounds very infectious to me. You can carry it around for 5 days. Now they're saying 5. It was 2 weeks. It's as much as 27. Where's the adults in the room on this? It really is starting to sound like a weather forecast where, it could be 40, it could be 87, it could rain, it could snow, but it might be sunny. There'll be a breeze, but it'll be calm. That really is how this is going, and I would like to point out that this is what happens when you trade all of your freedom for safety in the government. And we are now a victim of it, and so we're going to have to deal with it. Is there any opinions? Anybody want to kick something back, as I'm finding it hard to not constantly, I don't have Brian to constantly interrupt and springboard me into new nonsense. So if there's anybody that has a comment or something they'd like to share, go ahead and do that now. So I do not want to be remiss in saying that we know that there is a Savior. We know that there is a plan. We know that there is a definitive end, and it works up in the Christian's favor, the true believer, the servant of Christ. And he tells us not to fear, and he tells us not to worry, and to trust in what he's doing. Naomi, good morning. International population control. Yeah, now we're talking. It's okay. So now that goes into my fun spheres. So I'll finish on my last thought that, I am a conspiracy theorist. Thank you, Naomi. And I do, quote unquote, make myself ready for bad things that I think could come and happen. What I do find funny is this seems to have caught some of those people off guard. Yeah, martial law, here we come. Exactly. Thank you, Sarah. Good morning. I was going to save that for a little bit later because I do believe that Brian's going to be here, hopefully in about 15 minutes or so. But, well, we might as well just springboard into these things. I was just leaning towards the fact that we know we have a Savior, we know we have a plan, and, we know that there are, and this could be the end of days. Did I move the camera? Oh, boy. No, that's my screen. See, this gets out of control very easily, too, when you're by yourself. Okay. So, international population control. So there are some people who have a line of thinking that there are masters, rulers, puppet masters, power brokers, what have you, that have a plan for the world, the plan for the world that they will control, that they want to see fit, and most of them want most of the humans dead, as low as they want 500,000 people on Earth, if you go Georgia Guidestones on it. So this becomes kind of a tool for those ends in those means. So an interesting thing of some of the things that I've listened to, I was listening to some doctor last night, and he was talking about the fact that, like, the infectability, this is pretty much instantaneous pneumonia. The infectability that this has on Asian people is twice the factor as it is on European white people and even African American people or Africans, people from the continent of Africa. See, I try to be politically correct. It doesn't work out. So if you're African continent type person or European white type person, you are infected half as much as Pan-Asian based people. And so that's why SARS, H1N1, a lot of these things that are, they start in those areas are much more deadly in those areas. And I think that if you look, they own David and Marie Miller, they own stock in toilet paper. That's hilarious. Yeah, right. They own stock in toilet paper. I love it. So, these diseases that start in these areas seem to be much more quicker, much more effective, and I do find it interesting that the Koreans figured out how to shut it down real quick. And I do think that the U.S. can take a lesson from how the South Koreans handled it, and it is in the testing, and I am wondering what's going on with the testing phase of this thing. But I'm not willing to throw President Trump under the bus because, well, he's a president, not a doctor or a medical community who should have been well-regulated, well-prepared, and ready for scenarios such as this, just as the Koreans were, outside of who our president is. Now, that being said, is interesting that in the Northwest, it really seemed to grab hold, and it also really seemed to grab hold in the San Francisco area, and it also grabbed hold in New York, where we have large Asian-type populations. Is this directed towards that type of people? I don't know how crazy I want to get on the church channel. I think that's could be going a little bit ridiculous, but these are the things that people are talking about that I watch. And helps make decisions. If you are, a white European descent, you're half as likely to get it. It's going to be harder for you to get, even if you get some on you, as it were. So, then on the martial law thing, let's go to address what we have going on in our country. Governor Toad in Ohio, and I'm a Republican, but I do not like Governor Toad, and he looks like a toad. Government Toad in Ohio shut down all the schools for 3 weeks, and many other states are following suit with this school shutdown. because schools are little tiny petri dishes for biological experimentation. We all know this. Me having 4 kids, and I'm currently sick with whatever my kid number 1 left me with from last weekend. All right, we're going to do something. How far is this something we do go? Are we willing to sit in our houses for weeks without work, letting this happen? And I can tell you, some of the people that I listen to and talk to and look up on the YouTubes tell me this school thing is only the start. And it's funny because they kind of agree with my neighbor, who was the first person that I heard come up with this. I think it was for a different economic reason, though. He said, my neighbor, he said, wait till April 1st when the socials get paid. Then they're going to get to run to the store. We're going to have a run on the store, and April is going to be lockdown month. April will be like we're going to look like Italy. Italy, if you don't know, is currently completely locked down. You can't really go anywhere or do anything. I kind of, if we're going to be serious about this disease, I kind of think that's what you have to do, unless it's not as infectious, ergo the beginning of the program. You really start to go in circles with these things. So, are we going to go to martial law? Are we going to surrender rights, Second Amendment right? Are we going to get rid of Fourth Amendment? What's the one where they can just search and seizure you? Or are we going to start chucking stuff out the door in the name of safety? How far down this rabbit hole are we going to go? What makes sense? I think these are serious things that we're going to need to think about here in the coming weeks. This is like the prep period. This is like the little bit of time before we either go drastic and shut the nation down, and I think you are going to see a lot of problems. You're going to see some unrest. I don't know how many homes are ready to sit inside their homes for 4 weeks without toilet paper. Or is this thing going to taper off? Is it all media hype? And they're not going to be able to sustain this that long, and it's going to fall off. So that by the time April 1st rolls around, we are turning on baseball games. We are watching the end of the NBA season. NASCAR is running circles around tracks, and we are getting ready for hot dogs, hamburgers, and steak. I don't know. I think these are the questions that we need to think about. We need to think about, are we going to go to church? If we're going to close down the schools, are we going to go to church and gather together? Who should go to church and gather together? Apparently this attacks elderly, it attacks smoking diabetics. I am one of those. So I naturally am walking around wondering, when I'm going to get my lucky draw on the card. But do we encourage at-risk people to stay home, or do we come and celebrate together as a congregation? These are all things that are driving me and my wife insane. We kept our kids home today from school because it didn't seem to make much sense to say that this is so dangerous, we're going to close the schools for 3 weeks and then let them go to school Friday and then Monday so the bars can get ready for St. Patty's Day. It still blows my mind what the thinking there is. If it's dangerous, it's dangerous. And I wish someone would be an adult and say, it's dangerous, we're locking it all down now. Or they would be like, everybody just calm down. And trying to put their hands around it, this kind of tells me they're making a big deal out of these things for their own agendas. And I guess that's really where I'm going to come down at. So I'm going to get ready for watching the rest of the world lose their mind, because that seems to be what's happening. All right, I have somebody watching on the YouTube. I was thinking it was my pops, and he would chip in by now, but he has not. I hear the door close. Possibly my partner in crime. Anybody in YouTube world, had a couple people chip in, which was awesome. Does anybody have any idea what's going on with Drudge Report? Other than apparently he was bought by Media Matters and George Soros and is part of the propaganda wheel now. That is not a good place to watch things. Hey! Welcome!
You got coffee?
No, I got water. I got here late. This thing barely got running.
You're alive now?
Brian not there. Carol Corsi would like to know where the adult is in the room. She says, Brian's not there, I'm turning it off.
No, she did.
No, she did say Brian's not there, though. And Esther's watching. I have to tell you, for only being just me, we're really drawing them in today. We've got 9 on the Facebook and only 2 on the YouTubes.
Nice.
So welcome. Can you want to control the camera with a phone, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I'll do that. Why are you not? You zoomed in.
Yeah, no, I look great. When I'm here by myself, I look like a normally proportioned person.
You do. You gotta take this call.
Okay. He's now going to take a phone call. So, I was going to flip over to Drudge Report with our modern technology. All right, so I'm not, because this is going to take, I'm not going to be able, I can't sing and play guitar to save my life. And I really would like to. I really would like to sing and play guitar. I am very uncoordinated. And I'm having a hard time talking and using the computer. And I must be just that simple-minded. All right. Web browser. I really want you to see drudgereport.com. Looks like we've already looked this up once. Let's see what happens. Browser, Drudge. There it is. Okay. So I like to look at a lot of these list-type news aggregators, right? I'm going to cut over there. And you're going to see headlines, like you light your hair on fire. Now, it depends on what day it is. Okay, so here's what I was worried about. Like right off the rip, this is great. Okay, China government spokesman says U.S. military may have brought this virus to China. I was just talking about that. Like, this has markers all over it that it's designed. This is a designed virus. This is clearly a weapon, and we're going to be framed. Like, listen, people, this could get really stupid really fast depending on how our leaders play this. We could be totally set up. Be transparent. Make public your data. You owe us an explanation. I'm assuming this is China to America. As if we're the only ones that can build something like this. Like Iran. Like Obama gave everybody the ability to do these things. So seriously, like, we're the only ones that could have done it. So Brazilian president who shook our president's hand is positive after meeting with Trump. So the president has a good chance of having it. Patients contagion. Now they're saying patients are contagion up to 37 days, and you really missed an awesome part of the show. Oh, that's awesome. That's really fantastic.
We need to do this every 3 minutes or something. Right?
But this doesn't do anything. You have to actually wash your hands.
I know.
Yeah. Welcome. So we've gone everywhere from, do we do this? Don't we do this? Are you going to be the tiny little calf that can't keep up with the herd, and the herd just runs you over, or are you going to participate? And that's where I'm at. Like, I bought toilet paper. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like a bad person. Sorry. Right. We talked about that. I did bring in. You'd be really proud of me. Although I didn't use any scripture, as you might have suspected. But we Christ has got this under control.
Sure, he does.
Right. This is in his plan.
Right.
His plan may just be for all of us to die.
It might be.
It might be.
Okay.
So we talked about that. What else? We talked about martial law. We've talked about Naomi chipped in.
Are they gonna instill martial law?
Well, no. Listen, I don't know what you do know and don't.
Do we
know.
have heat in this church?
Yeah. but it's probably broke because it got warm and now cold. Yeah,
it's cold in here.
But we have a beautiful stage.
We do.
But a furnace that
Can't heat the building.
Can't heat the building. All right, let me get over to the Facebooks. Oh, it was just there.
Okay, one more pump.
Pump. Oh heavens! There's our live stream.
Lots of friction.
Lots
of friction.
So we had first of all, I heard there was. You're gonna cook it on your hands.
Someone said lots of friction when you wash your hands.
Wash them vigorously.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
All right.
Okay, so international population control. We kind of went down. I broke out some conspiracy theories.
Sure, why not?
Why not, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know how crazy we want to get, but what's funny is we cut over to the Drudge Report. I'm going to go back to our camera. The Drudge Report. Where's it at? Look at this. The first line.
China government spokesman says U.S. military may have brought... I saw it earlier.
Okay, listen.
Somewhere else.
So I finally found... I'm going to throw his name out there. Alex Jones.
Oh.
I found him. And I listen, he really gives me a piece of serenity because I can gauge on how crazy I'm going to get about this.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Right.
So, and that may be dumb, but I paid attention to him for so long, and I do know that he has enough truth with enough crazy that I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So, he's got a doctor on there that goes, so basically, this disease for the Asian population has an infection rate double of Europeans and Africans. So basically, it's an engineered disease. It's obviously engineered, right? I mean, have you seen any of that?
I've seen some of it.
Just look at the structure of it. Mm-hmm. It has triangles on it, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Okay? Not little blobs or little...
But didn't they have an artist make those pictures? Like, that's not what the actual thing looks like.
No, if you look at microscans of them,
really?
It looks like tiny triangles. Like the artist has to have inspiration from somewhere, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so there's a grain of reality there somewhere.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
And I listen, a disease that nobody has a handle on it. Mm-hmm. You can present symptoms in 5 days to 37. It's infectious. Now it's 37. It was 27 just a half hour ago. Now it's 37. And this is the thing that we started out with the show too. I'm really getting frustrated, my wife and I. Mm-hmm. Because we're trying to make decisions,
right?
And at one moment you make it sound like nasty death with sharp, pointy teeth that's ready to get us at any second, mm-hmm. and then the next second you're like, it's going to R naught of 2 to 3, which is a little worse than the flu, but like the measles has an R naught of 12 to 14.
Right.
Well, I go, what is everybody worried about?
I know.
But yet, we're shutting everything down. So does this become an exercise in martial law? Is this, I presented to the people that are watching us, we are seeing the new 9/11. This is a 9/11 moment, okay?
It's just we don't have to damage any planes or buildings in the process.
No, we're going to kill a bunch of old people and Asians and smoking diabetics. So, listen, you got to bring some brevity into the situation somewhere.
Right? Yeah, gotcha.
So, like, these are the things that we need to think about. I need to go back to the Facebook video. Okay.
That's what I'm trying to pull up here is Facebook stuff.
We have 9 people watch. This is
it's a hot button.
Can you believe this is hot button topic?
Yeah.
Well, so people don't know what to do. They're being made fun of for buying toilet paper, mm-hmm. but the people who are making fun of them are sitting on a case of toilet paper because that toilet paper had to go somewhere. Right. And another thing that you're missing, that's what springboarded me on all this stupidness. You think we're headed towards martial law and all of these kinds of things? My neighbor presented me a theory that they're going to wait. This is the soft release of it. They're going to wait till after April 1st when the socials get paid out. Then when the socials get paid out, there'll be a run on the stores and they're going to lock us down like Italy. That's his opinion. Well, I'm listening to Alex Jones and this doctor and Mike, the health ranger, and they're saying the same things. They're like, we're gonna have to make a decision where we're going to lock us down, just like Italy, or this isn't a big deal.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
Right.
Just how do we get there from here? And we got our kids for 3 weeks while we figure it out.
Right. Well, the other thing, too, I said something to April yesterday, I think it was, and that is that, we look at this as a bad thing, and it is bad, especially people who are sick and suffering with it or people who are dying from it. So obviously those are all bad situations. But sometimes I wonder, too, if God isn't going, hey, at least for the Christian, would you be willing to see this as a time to take a rest and take a break from all of your busyness that you have forgotten about me and maybe get back in touch with me? I mean, is that a possibility?
Well, I think it's awesome. Listen, I'm looking forward to sheltering in place. I got home from work yesterday, and I laid on my bed, and my wife was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm quarantining myself." This is delightful. You should come quarantine with me. And so we did.
Right.
We were laying on the bed watching the news, and the kids had no idea that we vanished.
Oh.
So we had 10 minutes until someone found us.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just like, isn't this quiet? Isn't this nice?
Right.
And so, listen, I'm all on board. I still have to pay my mortgage.
Right. I get all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's a practicality here to all these decisions that are going to be made. Mm-hmm. Do I go to work next week? Am I worried? My brother flew to Florida, and he's flying home. Should we quarantine him?
Well, April just came back from South Carolina.
Are you quarantining her?
I thought about. I had a plastic room all prepared with ventilation systems and sanitation. I didn't quarantine her. And this is what's interesting. I told our prayer group on Wednesday night when we met for prayer. There was 8 of us here.
Is that a lot?
Well, that's good for prayer group.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, especially today for prayer group.
The one time I came, there was 12.
Yeah, so there was a few people missing. But for the most part, I told people, I said, God has been so gracious and kind to me in delivering me from anxieties and fears that I have to confess that by God's grace and by His Spirit and His peace alone, that I really have not. I mean, yeah, it goes through your mind a little bit. Yeah. But it's not like it would have been, a year ago when I was really struggling with those kind of things.
And this is great. You want to know why this is wonderful? Because we're going to need rational people. And you're finally not worried about yourself for 10 seconds. So you'll be able to come along with the rest of us rational people who have to make decisions.
Right.
It's awesome. No, it's great news. Yeah. Because, that is part of the problem, too, is sitting around just worrying that you're going to die.
Right.
Well, that isn't accomplishing anything.
Right? Yeah. The other thing is, too, you can get creative and find some different ways. Like, for instance, if all the sanitizing wipes are out at Walmart, you can go into the baby section or into the pharmacy section and get some rubbing alcohol. And rubbing alcohol is known to kill the virus, from my understanding.
Yes.
The other thing is, too, which is really interesting, is that we go back to what I have always taught my boys and April, what we've always done, and that is if you're eating a healthy diet full of green leafy vegetables, fruits, things like that, you at least give your body the ability and the vitamins and minerals that it needs to fight off really just about any virus.
Okay, so the doctor that I was watching on, Alex Jones, who has friends at the Cleveland Clinic, I got to tell you, Alex Jones is really getting kind of serious with his guests. Wow. So anyway,
I can't believe someone from the Cleveland Clinic would come on.
Well, he is a health professional in Texas, but he was speaking to the directors of employee health and wellness at the Cleveland Clinic as one of his friends. Mm-hmm. So basically the guy who is in charge of how healthy and how these things, this is so funny too, we're willing to throw our first responders under the bus. Like, you stay home. Mm-hmm. Somebody made a statement yesterday of all the dumb things that I've ever heard. Maybe it's going to be a good time that you all stay home and watch Netflix. Did you see this guy?
No.
You all stay home, you all watch Netflix, and you can order Grubhub, or maybe get your groceries delivered for a change. And I'm like, well, what if those idiots have it?
Sure.
And they're bringing do you hear yourself talking?
Right.
And then not to mention, we got first responders, nurses, doctors, people filling our hospitals trying to take care of people. You need them to show up to work. Right? You know, we can't all sit in our houses and do this thing. So, yeah, no, I think that the silliness of some of this stuff, I don't know, where were we going? I lost it. I had it.
Well, I just made the comment about eating healthy.
Oh, so this doctor on the show said 4,000 milligrams of vitamin C, split it up twice a day.
Zinc?
50 milligrams of zinc, 400 milligrams of magnesium, and there was one more. He had 4 things. And those basically, vitamin D.
But
37,000 units or whatever.
I also know too that I've heard reports too that sunlight kills it. So if you're out walking, say in the streets, and you're out in the sun.
No, when they brought that up, so Alex Jones is like, so if we just go out in the sun, we're all gonna be okay. Well, the doctor's like, yeah, but that's why there's a flu season.
Right.
There's no sun.
Right.
So when the sun comes out, get out in it.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's the other thing too. When it comes to like the vitamin C, I agree wholeheartedly. Make sure you get a good vitamin C without a bunch of junk in it. Same thing with your zinc and your magnesium. But one of the interesting things that I've learned from my food experiences is that eating natural, good food, and try to get organic if you can, but I mean, organic today is
Who really knows what that means?
Right, exactly.
Organic just means it was a living thing.
Right. So, but when you eat fruits and vegetables, what happens is there are thousands of what they call phytochemicals and different types of minerals and things that we don't even, like scientists don't even know yet. Like they haven't made a supplement of X, Y, and Z because they don't even know of like.
They'll tell you they don't. They'll tell you they don't know why iceberg lettuce, like the lettuces and the cabbages exist.
Right.
They're detoxifiers.
Right.
So they don't bring nutritional value to you, but they take out bad things in you, and that's why they're so healthy. And that's the things that people have to realize. We're a machine.
Right.
Like we're a bio machine designed by God.
Yeah.
And if we don't propel ourselves, and again, the biblical principle where there's going to be food everywhere, but you're still going to starve. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We don't have proper nutrition.
Yeah.
We can't fight off these diseases.
Right.
So here we are.
And like they told you back in like grade school, color is really the key. Like you take your fruits and vegetables and you make a plate full of color, and that's getting you most, if not all, of the phytochemicals and the nutrients and minerals that your body needs to do what it's supposed to do.
I like hamburger brown.
Brown. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I like cheese yellow.
Yeah, that's good.
I like bacon red. Yeah.
That's that. All right, I can deal with that.
See, I'm making a healthy plate right now.
I can deal with that. Yeah.
French fry tan. We can just keep going.
Yes, you can. You can. Yeah, definitely. So, I was thinking about this whole thing too, and it's hard. I've had a bunch of pastors. So our denomination, as a Nazarene denomination, has sent communications to us concerning, how we can filter through all this stuff and what we should or could do. And right now, meeting together as churches is just a suggestion. Anything over 100 to 200, it's not even a requirement. From my understanding, it's just a suggestion for like churches and things of that nature. Now, out in Maine public, I think Ohio has any groups over 100 or 200 are supposed to not meet together.
Churches and anything that has to do with infringement on your rights. So I think if I understand that correctly, if you wanted to get a bus together of 5,000 people and go down to the Capitol and protest this, you could.
Yeah, right.
Because that's part of your rights.
Right. But at the same time, so we want to be safe and make sure that we're wise about those kind of things and not do anything to put anyone else in harm's way. So we put out a communication via our email, and and you're supposed to keep drinking water all the time. Did you read that?
Yeah. Sorry, my coronavirus is kicking in.
I was going to say, do you know the symptoms is a cough?
Dry cough.
I can't believe this. I'm sitting closer than 3 feet to a guy that's coughing.
I don't have a fever.
Oh, he doesn't have a fever yet, but the cough could be the beginning of it. This is not good. But as a church, we are trying to make the decision now. We had some board discussion via text messaging, just trying to figure out, what we're supposed to do for Sunday. And we don't want to put anybody in harm's way, but at the same time, we don't want to let fear, kind of override the situation. But yet, like Matt said, it's not necessarily a question of fear. It's a question of just being wise and doing what's right. So we haven't made the final decision yet concerning Sunday, but if we do make the decision, we will probably at least have a live feed via YouTube and Facebook for our services. But the communication that we had just kind of tells people that, hey, if you're sick, stay home. Don't come to church or get in a crowd. If you even have symptoms, any kind of symptoms that you might think that you're sick. Of course, now though, Matt is saying that now they've upped the period of the period in which you could be sick and not show symptoms up to 37 days now. So I guess it really doesn't matter whether you're showing symptoms or not. You could come into an area and still, I guess, give the virus to someone else. So we'll kind of decide that. But definitely, people are saying, if you're going to come into like church and you do decide to do that, don't shake hands, hugs, just kind of keep that. What are they calling that? Distancing? Social distancing, I think, is what they're calling it now. On the TV. New term.
What we should do is we should all just talk to each other on our phones.
Yeah,
we'll have text sessions.
That's kind of what we do now anyway, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I do.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. We've sent out the communication. We've posted on Facebook. Becky posted on Facebook and then sent it out via email to our subscribers, for our email subscribers.
And we're streaming.
Yeah.
We got that all figured out just in time, kind of.
Right. So if nothing else, I don't know. Will we just have a message on Sunday if we do decide, or will we have worship and a message if we decide not to have services canceled? Will we do that here?
We might as well throw down, depending on who's here.
Right.
I mean, What's the matter if the guitars and the piano's being played?
Right.
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out. It depends on what time of day it is. I'm ready to stay in my house and just stare out my front window for a while.
Right.
And then the other part of me is like, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to go to church, and I'm going to see how bad this gets.
Mm-hmm.
I run into people that don't want to shake hands, that don't want to they go out of their way to go, not doing any of that,
Yeah.
And then I run into people that have no idea what's going on, and they want to give you a big hug.
Yeah.
So, until we get this kind of ironed out where the world's going to go here,
right.
It's anybody's call.
Yeah. And in reference to what you were talking about, we've been studying the book of Isaiah in Wednesday night prayer meeting.
Uh-huh.
And we were in Isaiah chapter 8 this past Wednesday. And it's talking about a judgment that's going to come, a swift judgment that's going to would come against Judah.
You said Isaiah 8?
Isaiah chapter 8. So a swift.
Did you post it online? I'm gonna go because my wife sent me that this week too. This would be great to talk about because I have some questions. So
there's a swift judgment that's going to come against Damascus and Samaria, and actually, after God does that, He preserves a remnant. Then in the last part, but it's interesting that in Isaiah 8, I'm pretty sure it's
12.
8.
It's 8, verse 12. We're starting at verse 9.
Okay, is that where he talks about don't consult mediums?
Oh, that's down further. That's where he says, okay, so at 9, be broken, O peoples, and be shattered, and give ear, all remote places of the earth. Gird yourselves, yet be shattered. Gird yourselves, yet be shattered. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was interesting right there. Buy toilet paper, but be broken and ready for what you may need to do. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the brokenness here, though, is like a sackcloth and ashes, a humility before God. No? Usually when it talks about being broken, it's talking about a humility before God, confessing, repenting, that kind of a brokenness.
Well, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I guess that's what I was meaning, but
okay, right.
I didn't say. Yeah, you're right. So, okay, devise a plan, but it will be thwarted. State a proposal, but it will not stand, for God is with us. For thus, O Lord, spoke to me with mighty power and instructed me not to walk in the way of these people, saying, you are not to say it's a conspiracy. Now, this is the part that my wife shared with me because I'm a conspiracy theorist. And so it says, in regard to all that this people call a conspiracy, are you not to fear what they fear or be in dread of it? It is the Lord of hosts whom you should regard as holy.
Right. Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, who's in control of this? I mean, it's not like if governments are doing something, if it is a conspiracy, is not God in control of this, and is not God going to use this for the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purposes?
Sure.
Romans 8:28.
Sure. And then the part that you were talking about,
which I think is a really important part.
Which would be verse 19.
Okay.
When they say to you, consult the mediums and the spiritists who whisper and mutter, should not a people consult their God? ?
Right.
Should they consult the dead on behalf of the living?
Right.
To the law and to the testimony. How far did you want to go?
No. Well, that's it. That was my point. My point is this: that if this is something, it doesn't matter. Like, why are we not consulting our God because people are dying of cancer? I mean, hundreds of thousands of people every year are dying of cancer. Babies are 1.4 million babies. Sadie Lane wrote a thing on her Instagram or Facebook, just kind of putting out some things there, and she made some really good points about, we've got all these people that are dying every year. Isn't it time we consult our God? Yeah. Isn't it time we start to obey Him and do what is right so that He might bless us as a people? Do we not see that we are going in the wrong direction?
Right. Absolutely. No, and I think this goes back to the gym thing, though. I think that just our time is our time, right?
I hear you.
Yeah. And, we, according to Jim's theory, we entered a new time. And that could be the end time.
Yeah.
And isn't that what people are acting like?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like we are losing our minds. Despite our best efforts to be smart, logical, rational, safe, and sane, we are blowing it big time.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would think so as a whole. And, one of the communications, too, that our district superintendent, Wendell Brown, sent out to us was that, listen, any time in the past when things like this have happened, the church was always stood as the stability for the people of God, and that's what we have to do. So, I mean, at the end of the day, God is in control of this whole thing, but we need to be wise. We don't need to be foolish, but He's in control. We don't need to be afraid, and we definitely don't need to stop loving people and caring for the needs of people. So
yeah, when it's cold outside, we put a coat on.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not hoping God's going to keep us warm.
Right, exactly. Right? Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, it's where that start and stops, and that, I think, really becomes, that becomes a part of your own personal testimony, and it becomes a part of your own, you're working out your own salvation, right? Your relationship with your God as an individual, right?
Yeah.
And, all of us together with our individuality and our connection to God in the way that we have our relationship with Him is what makes up the collective church. Because the collective church or the collective anything, as we can see from our government and our world leaders, falls apart. Right. I think that this is a great... what's funny is who's fallen off the map? Bernie Sanders. No one is ready for a socialist right now. Yeah. Right? Right. We need an adult. Yeah. Because, hey, listen, Italy.
Or at least a young adult.
Italy, well, we don't really have any of those to choose from. Italy, have you heard about this? They're locked down. They are turning their regular hospital rooms into ICUs. They don't have enough ventilators, so they literally are going, you're going to die, you're going to die, you get to possibly live, you're going to die. It's death panels, it's social medicine. Wow. It's just I don't know. Whatever. So, yeah, good times. Wow. I've almost filled up an hour of this nonsense.
Yeah, and you did half of it when I wasn't here, so.
Yeah, we did pretty good.
Sounds good.
Anything else? So, we're going to have church Sunday?
Well, we're going to have church. I don't know if we will cancel services completely, but we'll have at least live stream.
Okay.
We haven't made a decision as a board yet. You were on that that thread, right?
Yeah, and I'm up in the air. I really don't know what to do.
Yeah.
All right, we'll launch into this one. You know, I think about Jack and Carol.
Right.
You know, they're in a target group that ain't so great, but I know they'll be here if they can be here.
Mm-hmm.
They have to make that decision.
Right.
Right. I may be here. I should be protecting myself. Yeah, you know. Are we going to be everybody's parent and shut it all down, or are we going to be like, no, we're gonna live our lives?
Right.
You know, if one of us stumbles or falls down, then that's how it'll be.
Right.
So I don't know.
Because let's face it, if you're going to do a live stream, some of us are going to have to be here.
Right. Yeah.
So
you're going to limit the people here.
Right.
But yet, who doesn't want to? Part of the fun of coming to church is saying hi to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the fellowship of it.
Right.
Right? You know?
But we're going to say you can't do that. And listen, this bench is around 7 to 8 feet long. So one person, 2 people per bench, one on that side and one on that side. Because you have to be 3 to 6 feet.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
How many
so we've got 9 benches.
Okay.
So 18 people can come to church.
All right. So if you're the 18, should we pick which 18?
We can have a lottery. Right. We'll have a lottery.
That's good. So yeah, man, there was something else I wanted to bring up today, but I can't remember now. So church is looking really nice, though.
It is.
Jan and Melinda and Kathy and Karen and all the people that put time in, Matt and Jim and all kinds of people putting time in. So if I forgot a name, I feel like I'm on the award, like the Grammy Awards, and if I miss a name,
you nailed it.
Everybody that worked is doing a great job.
I feel like I'm on Romper Room. I see Billy and Timmy and Tom
and I see you.
And I see you. Okay.
Oh, that's I see you. We just talked about that.
Oh.
All right. So just one more for safekeeping. So
good.
This is good. We just want to get this out here. We know millions of people watching this. This is called. You're supposed to use
vigorously
as much friction as you can.
Okay, now listen.
You kill it that way.
You killed it, but you haven't taken it off your hands.
I haven't.
You just have dead coronavirus all over your hands.
But that's okay, right?
I don't know. This stuff lives for 37 days.
Yeah. Now I have heard that it's better to get it it's better to keep drinking, keep hydrated, because you keep your mouth wet. Because if your mouth gets dry, it could get in there and then get in your respiratory system, right? But if you drink the virus down or you eat the virus down, your stomach acid will kill it.
Perfect.
That's what I've heard.
Love it. I've also heard that it's better to give than to receive. In
this case, yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Okay.
100% true.
All right.
I guess we're done for today.
Are we yeah, how much of this stupidness are we going with?
That's it.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us this week. Be praying and be strong in Christ. He's not going to leave you. And I don't know. We'll see you next week, hopefully, Lord willing.
Yeah.